Welcome back. Just want to touch base on this Suburban again. I did a video a while back on lifter ticking. Ran some motor flush through it, flushed some clean oil through it, and then put another round of oil and filter in it. And it made the lifter tick go away for a little while, and it came back. I've gone through this like 3 times. I was almost at the point of going, all right, I need to take this engine apart, put some lifters in it, or pull the push rods out and clean those thoroughly. Maybe there's a restriction through the push rod getting to the lifter, not sure. It's only one lifter doing it, I'm pretty sure. It's on the driver's side towards the back. I'm not sure exactly which hole it's on, but anyway, we went a little long on an oil change over the winter, and coming into spring here that we're in now, so we went a little long on an oil change. I had to put 2 quarts of oil in it. Well, I was doing a little research on the lifter ticking, and I read somewhere, and I can't remember where, someone suggested running 0-30. And I've done this before in an old Isuzu Trooper years ago, like 15 years ago. A cousin of mine had a lifter ticking problem, and we went to a 0 weight in hers, and it helped tremendously on the lifter tick. So I remembered that. I was like, oh yeah, we did that before. I'll try it. Well, the engine got a little low on oil because we went super long on an oil change. I know, I'm a mechanic, didn't change my own oil, but it happens sometimes. Don't act like you hadn't ever gone over on an oil change. So it was 2 quarts low, roughly. I put 2 quarts of 0-30 in it because I'd already bought the oil to do the oil change, but I didn't have time to do the oil. We were in a hurry to go somewhere. I was like, let me check the oil. I was like, dang, this thing's low. I topped it off with that 0-30. Lifter quit ticking immediately. It's like, whoa. That was crazy. So should have changed the oil and put the 0-30 in it a long time ago, maybe. So anyway, here we are. I'm about to change the oil and filter again, and I'm going to fill it completely with 0-30 synthetic, the Mobile One's what I'm running. They say it's a fuel economy oil, but I think what happens is initial startup, it allows that allows that lifter to slam open because the weight of the oil is so thin. I'm assuming that's what the deal is, and then it just stays pumped up from there. So we're going to give it a shot, and I'm going to take it for a test drive, and we're going to see if this thing ticks or not afterwards. So basically, I just wanted to touch on the topic because I may end up putting a cam in this thing eventually anyway. Thinking about putting a turbo on it down the road and doing some work to it. I love this old Suburban. It needs some TLC. It's got a lot of miles on it, but it's still a totally rust-free Suburban, 4-wheel drive deal. So we're gonna probably keep it around for a long time. And but before I crack into it, put a cam in it, that may be a winter project for next winter. We'll see. But leave me some comments and suggestions if you have any comments, or if you have any suggestions on cam swaps, turbo swaps, stuff like that. That's what I'm leaning to doing, a single turbo on this. I'm not trying to go anything high horsepower, like crazy high horsepower. I'm thinking about doing like 450 of the tire type stuff, just to give it that good seat of the pants. You want to pass somebody pulling the trailer, you can do it type deal. Might burn up the 460 in it, 4L60 in it. May have to put a 4L80 in it. That's okay too. We might end up doing a swap to a 4L80 and a 3/4 ton transfer case. May end up putting a 3/4 ton rear end in it eventually, and straight axle in the front. Not sure what I'm going to do yet with this thing. I think these Suburbans are the ultimate vehicles. LS platform. What can you ask for? What more can you ask for? So anyway, we're gonna change the oil and see what happens with a zero weight deal. So I've got the motor flush in it again. I am doing a motor flush again because I went a little long and I want to make sure I get all the varnishes out. So I'm gonna let it run for 5 minutes. And then I'm going to drain it. I think I failed to mention before, when I did the flushes before, I was also using, 530 Mobil 1 full synthetic, and I was using Marvel Mystery Oil. So I put like 5 quarts of 530 in it and a quart of Marvel Mystery Oil. And we were hoping that would, help with the lifter tick, but I don't think it did anything. I've always been real skeptical about oil additives. Mechanics in a bottle. I mean, I've been a mechanic for 30 years. I've worked at lots of dealers, and we use some good stuff, some MOAs, motor oil additives, over the years from various companies, and that had all kinds of claims. And whether or not they did anything, I don't know. We don't have any really solid proof, but so I don't mind experimenting on my own stuff, especially if I'm not scared to take the whole motor apart and rebuild it, and put a cam and a turbo in it eventually. So like I said, I'm just trying to add this little bit of information. It's not going to be a long video. Just didn't want to ramble too long about it. Just wanted to make sure we're adding this into the playlist because I did make a lifter ticking video, and just wanted to let y'all know it did come back, and we're making another attempt without taking the engine apart because I'm just not ready to take it apart yet. So we're hoping to get at least another 6 months to a year out of it before I have to disassemble anything. This thing's got, I don't know how many miles this truck's got on it. I forget. Let's see. 226,198. I bought this thing at 203,000, I think. So we'll just say 200,000. So we put the last 25,000 miles on it, basically. And it hadn't really given us too much trouble, other than we can't get gas in it, which is, you can go back and watch that video, the charcoal canister and purge valves and stuff like that. Still having trouble getting gas in it, but I hadn't dropped the tank yet. So when I do drop the tank, I'm going to put an upgraded fuel pump in it that can handle the turbo and the power that I want it to deliver. So I want it to make probably 550, 600 horsepower crank power, and 450, 500 to the tire, something like that. Is my goal with it. I think we can achieve that with a cam and a turbo, and we're going to see how many miles, unless I've got to disassemble the motor, we'll see how many miles we can go with a stock long block with a cam and a turbo in it, making that kind of power. I don't plan on drag racing it, but I probably will take it to the drag strip a few times once we do that kind of project. So we'll see. But mainly this is an update on the oil, and I'll chime in later and let you know how it's going with that. Just keep you updated if you care. I mean, you might not even care. So this is the oil that I'm putting in it. And so far, like I said, just putting 2 quarts in with the 530 that I had in it made the tick go away in the lifter. I'm not putting anything else in it. Just 030 Mobil 1 advanced fuel economy. See, it says it's warranty protection for 530 and 1030 requirements. So I feel confident about putting it in there. No, I'm not sponsored by Mobil 1. Or by anybody for that matter. At the moment, I have had some people reach out to me about working with me on some partnerships with the channel, which is awesome. Nothing has come about yet with those, but we're working on a deal maybe. on some things for some products to showcase. And if any other manufacturers are out there that would like to get on the channel and help out, that would be awesome. You can reach out to me. My email is on the page in the contacts. It's hotroddave75@gmail.com. All right, we're going to pop this in and we're going to drive this thing for a few weeks before I finish this video. And I want to make sure this is sound advice. I'm not just going to be a quick pull the trigger, hey, it's fixed it, when we don't know for sure if the lifter is going to start ticking again or not. And I'm not saying that this would fix all lifter ticks. I'm just saying that this is working for me so far, and we're going to see how long it goes, and hopefully it'll last us. Like I said, I'm wanting this thing to stretch 6 months to a year before I can get the funds up to. I want to do long tube headers. I want to do stainless steel headers. I want to do a cam. Lifters at that point will get changed. Valve springs. May even pull the motor and do pistons and rings. I'm not sure yet. And if at that point, then I would do rod and main bearings in this motor. But I've seen these little LS motors go, I mean, 500,000 miles and on the original bearings. And there's probably some out there that go further than that have been taken care of. These things are notorious for longevity. Camshaft and lifters, they have some problems with from time to time, but the rest of the motor is freaking great if you take care of it. All right, so the next clip in this video will be a few weeks into the future to let you know how it's going with the 530. I'm sorry, with the 030 versus the 530. And we're going to pour this stuff in now. Let it drain down a little bit before we finish it up. So we'll put 6 squirts of that in there. Like I said, no other additives, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. All right, so it's been about 3 weeks since we filmed the beginning of this video. So what we found with the 030 is we drove it for about 3 days, maybe 4 days, and at 0 lifter ticks. Okay, this thing was ticking all the time. Driving down the road, in parking lots, you go through the drive-through, and tick, 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 just drive you crazy, embarrass you. Sounds like you're driving just a jalopy, So put the 030 in, and 3 or 4 days, no big deal, not a single tick. Son had a baseball tournament about an hour and a half away-ish, driving the speed limit, and we were running late. I ran that thing about 85, 90 miles an hour all the way up to the baseball tournament, and on that trip I heard it tick like one time while the vehicle was in motion. It went back to idle at a stop sign, and it went away again, and I was like, did I really hear that? Yeah, I think I did. So about I don't know, 3 or 4 more days, and it ticked one more time in a drive-through, just a tick, 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 tick for a couple of seconds. Well, I take that back, for a couple minutes, and that was probably the first week of driving it, week and a half, and we haven't heard it tick again since. So in my situation with a 530 versus 030, I'm going to stay with a 030, because with a 530 in it, it ticked all the time, except for maybe the first 2 to 3 days of an oil change. It would be on and off, on and off. But with the 030, I'm not, in my situation, I'm not saying this is going to work for you, but in my situation, that 030 is flowing and pumping that lifter up that was ticking, and I'm not having any more issues with it. So I'm happy with it. We're going to definitely continue to run it. Well, I'll be running it to Gulf Shores, Alabama for a baseball tournament here soon, and so we got a 7-hour trip each way or something like that. That's a pretty long trip in the heat, so that's going to be the big test. But I'm not worried about the lifters at all in it. I'm going to change the oil one more time before we go, just because I kind of went a little long on that one over the winter. So it's been about 3 weeks roughly since I changed it last. I'm going to go ahead and change it before the trip that's coming up in about a week or two, and we'll give it the torture test. I believe it's going to be fine. I think it's going to be fine until we put a cam in it. Now, I have a little bit of a bearing noise in the rear end that I'm concerned about. I don't know if I'm going to have time to fix it before we go on our trip. We're going to pray like hell that it lasts. We're going to pray that it makes it there and back, because when it gets back and if I got to do bearings, I'd like to put a gear set in it, or change the rear end out for a 3/4 ton rear end and put a 14 bolt in it, because I plan on converting it to 14 bolt in the rear, straight axle in the front, 4L80 and a 3/4 ton transfer case, whatever that is. Anyway, just thought I'd follow up with this and wrap this little video up. Appreciate you watching. Sorry if this was a boring one. It's just I think it's information. I mean, it's information worthwhile, especially if you got a ticking LS motor. Try the 030. It may help you. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe, like, share, hit the bell notifications. Peace.